Well, I tell you, I was a little late to that White Stripes party, but man, I'm really digging their music. Good morning, Vaqueros, DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours. It's 10:07 on Friday, January 20th, end of the first week of classes. Hopefully, you're having a good time getting back into the swing of things after the holiday season. I know we're enjoying it here in the radio station, so thanks for tuning in, and I got some great music picked out for you. As we always do on Office Hours at the bottom of the hour, we'll do This Day in History. I've got that queued up for you, as well as a great poem from, I don't have it from the student media magazines this week, because I really wanted to do a poem by Leonard Cohen, who listeners to this show know I'm a big fan, but we haven't done this poem before by him, and it's a really good one. So it's called Recitation, and it'll be on about 50 minutes after the hour. So thanks for tuning in. It is 68 degrees here in the beautiful Rio Grande Valley. A little overcast, kind of dingy outside. A little breezy for us here in the valley, but that's okay. We like to get it cold every once in a while. And make sure that you're listening to us through our Radio FX app. It's available on your smartphone app store, whether you use Android or iOS or whatever. It's available there. Radio F like Frank, X like X-ray, and then search for Vaquero Radio and favorite us so that every time you open the app, it'll automatically show you our broadcast. So 68 degrees. Looks like we're expecting a high of only 69 this afternoon, with some chances for rain this evening, about a 30% chance of rain this evening. And then for the upcoming weekend, looks like a pretty good one. For me, anyway. I know some people some people here in the valley think this is cold, but 65 degrees as a high tomorrow, 73 on Sunday, partly sunny skies, and then back to 76 on Monday as a high temperature. Also, this hour, it looks like we've got some Blood, Sweat, and Tears, some Christopher Cross. We'll go back to the 80s on that one, and also a little CCR. I think we'll do later on, but. For now, let's get back to the music, and I got a little X for you. We know who this is for. Here's Johnny Hit and Run Pauline, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. That's Pearl Jam with Breathe from the Singles soundtrack. Before that, you heard Rollins Band from the Comin' and Burn LP with On My Way to the Cage. We had Soundgarden before them with Birth Ritual from the same record, and we started off that set with X. I don't know about you, but I love radio, but sometimes I want that big block of music, instead of the talking in between and stuff. So we did a four song block there. Hopefully that didn't throw too many of you off there. Good morning, Vaqueros. It's DJ Doc V. It's 10:28 on Friday, January 20th. You're listening to Office Hours. Welcome back to a great new semester. Coming up at the top of the hour, by the way, the Feminist Hour is back. They'll be doing their show up at from our Brownsville studio. So make sure you stay tuned in and check out the Feminist Hour with DJ Solis, who will be talking about feminist stuff and playing some music and doing all kinds of fun stuff there. So as we do every Friday, we've got This Day in History. And back on January 20th, 1981, minutes after Ronald Reagan's inauguration as the 40th President of the United States, 52 captives held at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, Iran, are released, ending the 440-day Iran hostage crisis. On November 4th of 1979, the crisis began when militant Iranian students outraged that the U.S. government had allowed the ousted Shah of Iran to travel to New York City for medical treatment, seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. The Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran's political and religious leader, took over the hostage situation, refusing all appeals to release the hostages, even after the UN Security Council demanded an end to the crisis in a unanimous vote. However, 2 weeks after the storming of the embassy, the Ayatollah began to release all non-U.S. captives and all female and minority Americans, citing these groups as among the people oppressed by the government of the United States. The remaining 52 captives remained at the mercy of the Ayatollah for the next 14 months. That was on January 20th, 1981, that hostage crisis ended. Also on this day, just 2 years ago, Kamala Harris becomes the first female vice president in history. She's sworn in as the 49th U.S. vice president on January 20th, 2021. In 1980, President Jimmy Carter, in a letter to the United States Olympic Committee and a television news interview, U.S. President Jimmy Carter proposes that the 1980 Summer Olympics be moved from the planned host city of Moscow if the Soviet Union failed to withdraw its troops from Afghanistan. On this day in 2017, Donald Trump is inaugurated in the culmination of his extraordinary rise to power over a tumultuous election year. He's inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States in Washington, D.C. Also, back in 1841, Hong Kong was ceded to the British. During the First Opium War, Chinese cedes the island of Hong Kong to the British with the signing of the Xuanpi Convention, an agreement seeking an end to the First Anglo-Chinese conflict. On this day in 1996, Yasser Arafat was elected the leader of Palestine. The Palestinian National Council, he got 88.1% of the popular vote, becoming the first democratically elected leader of the Palestinian people in history. In 1973, country star Jerry Lee Lewis rocks the Grand Ole Opry. Years after he was known as The Killer, a rock pioneer who released such rock standards as Great Balls of Fire and Breathless, Jerry Lee Lewis made a name for himself in a very different musical genre, country. And finally, on this day in 1993, one of America's most beloved actresses, Audrey Hepburn, dies on January 20th, 1993, near her home in Lausanne, Switzerland. She was 63 at the time and had undergone surgery for colon cancer the previous November. That's this day in history, as we do every week on Office Hours. So thanks so much for tuning in, Vaqueros, and we're going to get back to the music. Here's a little Blood, Sweat, and Tears, kicking back to the 1970s with And When I Die, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. That's Christopher Cross with Sailing from back in the 80s. Boy, what a great, nice mellow song there. We all like that one here at the studio, so I thought I'd throw it on there for you. Before then, it was Blue Oyster Cult, because I figured you guys need a little bit more cowbell in your lives this morning. That was Don't Fear the Reaper. I watched this movie last night where some guy was doing an acoustic version of Don't Fear the Reaper in a with an audience of old people in a nursing home. That was harsh, man. Don't fear the Reaper for the elderly. And then we started off that segment with And When I Die. So I guess we had a little bit of a theme going there that last segment. And When I Die by Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V here with you up until the top of the hour, when my friend DJ Morena Libre, not DJ Solis, DJ Morena Libre will be doing the Feminist Hour up at the top of the hour. So make sure you stay tuned to Vaquero Radio and check out the Feminist Hour at 11 o'clock Texas time. But for right now, back to the music. One more song before we do our poem for the day. Here's a little CCR with Fortunate Son on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. It's 10:51, Vaqueros. It's DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours. Thanks for tuning in. And we just heard that song, CCR, Fortunate Son. Sorry for those of you who don't like that. Well, I'm not really sorry. I like that song. But thanks for tuning into Office Hours. I've got a few more minutes left. And as we do every week on Office Hours, I've got a poem picked out for you. This one's by the late artist, singer, poet, Leonard Cohen, very influential in rock and roll. Everyone from U2's Bono to, many Pearl Jam, all talk about Leonard Cohen as an inspiration to the art that they also put out there. So This is a poem called Recitation, and I really like this one. So here's Leonard Cohen with Recitation right now. You came to me this morning and you handled me like meat. You'd have to be a man to know how good that feels, how sweet. My mirror twin, my next of kin, I'd know you in my sleep. And who but you would take me in, 1,000 kisses deep. I loved you and you opened like a lily to the heat. You see, I'm just another snowman, standing in the rain and sleet, who loved you with his frozen love, his second-hand physique, with all he is and all he was, 1,000 kisses deep. I know you had to lie to me, I know you had to cheat, to pose all hot and high behind the veils of sheer deceit. Our perfect porn aristocrat, so elegant and cheap. I'm old, but I'm still into that, 1,000 kisses deep. I'm good at love, I'm good at hate. It's in between I freeze. Been working out, but it's too late. It's been too late for years. But you look good, you really do. They love you on the street. If you were here, I'd kneel for you, 1,000 kisses deep. The autumn moved across your skin, got something in my eye, a light that doesn't need to live and doesn't need to die. A riddle in the book of love, obscure and obsolete, and witnessed here in time and blood, 1,000 kisses deep. But I'm still working with the wine, still dancing cheek to cheek. The band is playing Auld Lang Syne, but the heart will not retreat. I ran with Diz, I sang with Ray, I never had their sweet, but once or twice they let me play, 1,000 kisses deep. I loved you when you opened like a lily to the heat. You see, I'm just another snowman, standing in the rain and sleet, who loved you with his frozen love, his second-hand physique, with all he is and all he was, 1,000 kisses deep. But you don't need to hear me now, and every word I speak, it counts against me anyhow, 1,000 kisses deep. That was a poem called Recitation by Leonard Cohen here on Vaquero Radio. This is DJ Doc V. Thanks for tuning in to Office Hours this week. We'll be back next week, but don't go away because we've got DJ Morena Libre who's coming up here at the top of the hour. So make sure you stay tuned to Vaquero Radio and listen to her and the Feminist Hour from our Brownsville studio coming up at the top of the hour. We'll do one more song on Office Hours. This is Little Genesis with Misunderstanding on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Have a great Friday.